right, we are in once again, and a very warm welcome to my viewers who have been so supportive through all these interviews and diaries that I've been doing. Welcome once again to another diary. And I know if you are truly looking for something motivating, inspiring, captivating, you have stumbled upon the right show. That's the beauty about my diaries. They inspire us, encourage us, and make us think, but also push us out of our limits to take actions, because really, we are the ones who has to make the decisions to change. And so welcome to this particular diary, because you know why? I am so pumped up. I'm so happy. My sister friend all the way from Qatar, she's here with me today. Okay, Adriana Meyer all the way from Qatar. She's joining me from Doha to record this conversation with me. She is a business psychologist and an executive coach. And I cannot tell you how much I am so excited for you to listen to this conversation, because she is so good with what she does. Welcome, Adriana, and thank you so much for joining me on this particular diary. I'm so happy that you've taken your time to do this with me, because in this season of isolation and lockdown, I mean, sometimes if really we are not intentional, your mind can be, going back and forth and playing music and all that. So I'm just happy, sweetheart, that you've taken this time to join me to record this diary with me. So welcome. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you, dear Fauza. The pleasure is all mine, and I'm so happy to see you again after a couple of years.
Yeah, me too. It's like yesterday. It doesn't feel so long, is it?
And it looks like technology is using all of these in our favor nowadays.
Absolutely.
So let's take this as a positive start and a fresh look to start our meeting today and our talk. It's a very nice time for me, and I'm happy to be here with you today.
Right. Thank you so much, Adriana. And I am just curious to hear from you, as a business psychologist and an executive coach, you are dealing with business people, but you're dealing with your children, with yourself too, with friends, with family. How is this experience? How is this current experience, of isolation and lockdown, treating you personally and also professionally with your clients, in general? How is it for you? Because you are a psychologist, right? But you are also a human being.
Absolutely. As you just said, as a business psychologist and an executive coach, it didn't change much, because I was already using this type of home office, and I was used to work from home since I have clients all over the world, and we are using Zoom online platform more than ever now. Okay. However, the big change for me in this professional atmosphere was due to the fact that I cannot meet my clients for a one-to-one presential coaching session, for example, and sometimes technology doesn't help much. So we have to face and adapt, adjusting to all the new things we have to learn. And in the personal side, I can tell you it's been really hard, because we were deprived of most of the things we used to do before the lockdown, right? So I miss simple things like going out for a walk in the park, playing at the beach with my kids, or even meeting my friends in a coffee shop, for example. And I can tell that from an overall perspective, it had a huge impact on some people as well, as we all had to navigate in the transition from the normal work to the remote work.
Yeah.
So the home offices more than ever are exploding.
We feel like we are so closed, isn't it?
True. And we all had to learn a range of new online tools for group and team meetings, like the Zoom breakout rooms, for example, and Microsoft Teams.
Yeah.
So this new form also has a positive impact, I think, because we can manage our times, we can be flexible.
That's
but
right.
One of the things we have been discussing a lot during some webinars I have been participating in, some of the sessions I also have been handling, are the time to stop.
Yeah.
So we have to find a balance between mothers, between being professionals, and also having a personal time for ourselves.
That's right. Because otherwise it's zoom, zooming, meeting this, chatting with friends, chatting with your clients. I mean, I see that with myself. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to pause, but I'm just curious to hear from you, Adriana, that for you as a professional psychologist, right? You help business people, you help people like Fauza, you help moms, you help everybody, let's say, isn't it? What do you think that this season is really doing to people?
Yeah, it's really from my experience as a business psychologist, and there is just a little difference here between the clinical psychologist and business psychologist, because we look more into the well-being, finding goals, and helping people, as you said, like you and people in organization, to find their balance, to set goals and work towards achieving these goals, and establishing a better life balance.
Yeah.
On the positive, focusing on the better sides of things. While the clinical psychologist will go deeper with some more of the anxiety, depression, the clinical issues itself. And when I am with my clients and my coaches, for example, I have seen that we are all facing the same issues, same difficulty.
Same.
But the difference here, since you asked me, is that each one will feel and react to the current situation in a different way. So, in a recent study done by Harvard Business Review, it has been proven that what many of us are living now is an anticipatory grief.
Right.
So I would like to talk a little bit about this, because this study of grief, the grieving stages, was done by a psychologist called Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, and she mentions that as the 5 stages of grief. So we are nowadays experiencing with coronavirus sometimes anxiety, depression, frustration, and dealing with uncertainty. So this is one of the things that we are experiencing now with this crisis. But the importance of understanding that what we are living might go on or not depends on us. So for example, I will try to explain the difference about the stages. So they say that it's a cycle, and it's the denial, anger, depression, bargaining, and acceptance. So all these phases, they can come and go depending on what we are feeling at that moment.
Ourselves, isn't it?
Yes.
Independent of what's happening at the moment, we still are in control, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm understanding it.
Yes. So, for example, in the denial, a good example of that is like, oh, this virus won't affect us. And in the anger stage, we are going to try and make things that we can control. We will stay at home. But this is maybe taking me away of my activities, which is causing this anger.
Yeah.
In the
I think it's more because I struggled with that too in the beginning, you know, having been literally everywhere myself, you know, I realized that I'm not used to being home anymore, you know, not like I'm not used, but it's just that I felt like my freedom has been taken away. I had to cancel my events, you know. So you go back and you start, you know, analyzing, and you see, you're like, no, this is not what I'm supposed to, you know, this is not for me, this is, so yeah, it's making sense what you're saying.
Yeah, and this is interesting because then this anger might lead us to the depressive stage,
right,
with depression. So it's being overwhelming for everyone. It's not easy. And one simple thing that we might think, I don't know when this will end.
Yes.
And that's when we go to the bargaining stage. So we struggle to find meaning, and we sometimes think, okay, if I social distance for 2 weeks, everything will be better, right?
We think so. Well, we think so, isn't it?
Absolutely. So this is one of the things we start thinking in the bargaining. We really start to negotiate and try to find a meaning to avoid the cause of the grief. And where we really have control, that you mentioned before, is in the acceptance phase.
Absolutely.
Because we will be exploring our options, we will be making new plans, and we will try to move on. So one of the common things I have been listening now is that, okay, this is happening. I have to figure out a way. So in this part, you have this feeling of control. And some of the things that we can generally control, are I can wash my hands. I can learn how to work virtually, like what we're doing now. And we can try to keep the safe with the social distancing. So that's one of the things we can do. Moving forward is really in our power, and that's what we can do now.
Yeah, it's really liberating, because I think at the end of the day, we really can only control what we can control, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
But I also always believe that, you know, we all have our own power. Everybody has their own strength. And, you know, for me, I'm learning in this season of lockdown and isolation that when I'm able to take control of my mind and my thoughts, you know, I can be able to navigate this new lifestyle, this new world we are in, this new, you know, because everything is new, isn't it? So if I'm able to navigate, you know, and take control of my thoughts and of my mind, it also, I realized for myself, you know, when I was struggling with the acceptance of what's happening, that I cannot control everything, but I can just control my emotions, my anger, my anxiety, because it doesn't change the situation, isn't it? It just makes things worse if you keep on, you know, narrating the same story and all that. So that's very powerful, and really, it's actually something that, you know, I wanted us to talk about it. You know, like, you know, slowly the countries will, you know, things will come back to normal. I really believe so, because I don't think we will be in this lockdown for the rest of our lives. No, no, no. For me, I pray and I refuse. I refuse, I'm just like, this is not what God wants us to be living, locked down in the houses and not doing anything. However, even when the borders open, there will be, I was reading an article, that things will change. And there will be a lot of repercussions and a lot of rules and a lot of, and I don't know, for you as a professional, as an executive coach, and as a business psychologist, what do you think that it's gonna be the hardest for people, because I think we'll still be wearing masks and wash your hands every time, or how do you think the new way of life will people when we have the freedom, that do you think people will still be hard to resolve with it? Or I don't know, I'm just curious to hear from you, because we will have our freedom in one way or another, but the restrictions and the limitations of what we used to do before are not going to be the same. So what's your like opinion on this in terms of the mind, and how can we handle it, or how can we better prepare for when the gates open? That's actually the way I wanted to phrase this question.
Yeah, that's a very good question, because we don't know the answers yet.
Yeah.
It looks like we are not going back to what we used to call normal, but with difficult life events such as the coronavirus, people are using the coping mechanisms to deal with stress management, to cope with the anger, the loneliness, anxiety, and depression that we were talking about.
Right.
And there are many cases where people are facing the death of a loved one, or even losing their jobs.
And
that can cause many people to go back to the grieving stages we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
So the coping mechanisms are some strategies that people often use in the face of stress and or a trauma to help them deal and manage painful or difficult situations and emotions like the one we are going through.
Right.
I still believe that people will keep using the coping mechanisms that they are using during the lockdown after they start opening up the countries, the
new life.
the new. And some of the coping mechanisms we can use include support. So just talking about what is going on with you, reach out to people, search and seek for external support instead of self-isolating. And realize that you are not alone. You are not through that on your own.
Right.
So it will help you a lot.
Okay.
There are also some nice activities like relaxation, where you can use a sort of meditation, mindfulness meditation, to keep in contact with yourself, going deep and applying some calming techniques, listening to soft music. So it also helps us to keep going.
Right.
And using some problem solving techniques as well, like reflecting and trying to make a real strategy, so you can really have a plan, but of course it's just a plan, but at least have something feasible to start.
Okay.
And using humor, so sometimes get together with your family, find time for yourselves, and play with the kids, and practicing some physical activities, some of them next to the beach or to the park when they start reopening. It will also be very helpful.
Right. That is powerful. Thank you so much. And our time is almost up, but you have shared really quite a lot. But I just would like for you to, to give us like a few takeaways or a few, because it's like what you said, even after this, so we've had life before and now we are having the life of corona and lockdown and isolation and hand washing and masks, right? But we will have a life after. And then earlier on, you mentioned something that many people will still carry the grief, even to the post isolation, because I think this isolation, if you're not careful, it really does something with you. You really suddenly realize that there is no another way. You're on your own house, you're on your own four walls, you're like surrounded in four walls, and the anxiety and depression will, unless really we become intentional, like what you say, and finding way coping mechanism, it's not going to end, isn't it?
True.
So what will you as a professional, right? You've dealt with so many people, and I would like for you to share with everybody watching, what are your a few tips on how we can handle it even afterwards, because I know we're going to have the afterwards. We're going to have the after corona life again sooner or later.
Hoping for
How
that.
can we handle it? What will be your takeaway, your advice?
Yeah. So thanks for bringing this question in, because I think the most important now is that we don't deny our emotions, our feelings. So we all know that the coronavirus invaded whole nations, bringing uncertainty, fear of the unknown, financial instability, and these things we cannot control.
No.
But if we shift our mindsets and attitudes, we will be able to change our limiting beliefs and start changing the things we can control.
Okay.
So rather than focusing on the negative, I can choose to stay positive.
Right.
I can choose not to watch the news the whole day, and that includes my actions, my thoughts, and my emotions. What is important here, again, is that you keep constantly checking your feelings.
Right.
So give yourself some time to be alone. Do what you think is most important for you at this time. And no formula, as we are all learning together about it. So what works for me might not work for you.
That's right. Oh, that's very powerful, Adriana.
Thank you.
Because we're all different individuals, isn't it?
And that's what I've been trying to do with my clients in my coaching sessions. So when they come to the session nowadays, their agendas are totally different. And it's a time for them to feel heard. So we work through what the crisis means to them, trying to understand what is going on in their lives, working with different tools and techniques to support them. And the most important, staying with them where they are, with no judgment, enabling them to understand where they are now, having more clarity, and to say, it's okay if you feel hurt. It's okay, because I've been there too. So reach out to your friends, check on your loved ones, and identify your body signs. And let's live one day at a time.
I love that. I love that. Really.
And remember that every day the sun invites us for a new beginning.
Absolutely.
So let's be kind to ourselves, be compassionate to us and towards others. And that might be a good start for all of us.
Thank you so much. Really powerful. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom. And really, I love what you say, that, the sun invites us, joy comes in the morning, isn't it? Yeah, when, when the sun comes up, joy comes in the morning. I love that. I've learned a lot from you. Thank you so much, Adriana. And for you viewers, this season of isolation, it's not meant for you to be alone or to isolate yourself. As what we've heard from Adriana, what she's telling us is we need to be in tune with ourselves, with our emotions. Be intentional, be honest to yourself, reach out to someone, speak out how you feel, isn't it? Speak out how you feel. And what I love what Adriana said, you know, what might work for her might not work for you, might not work for me. And for me, the way I've understood that, it's because we are all created differently. So her way of coping mechanism will be different for me, might be different for you. So you need to really listen to yourselves and then reach out to other people who can understand you and walk by your side. She said it, we are not alone. We are not alone. Let's work together. Let's support each other. Let's encourage each other. Let's all hold each other accountability, you know, because this season, I know, with no doubt that it shall come to an end.
And I love the way you brought this with your beautiful big smile, with your positivity and your energy, and that's under your control. So it's all about your choices. It's all about you.
Thank you. I honestly have enjoyed this conversation, and I love everything you've said, really. And I love what you've kept on emphasizing, that we need to take one day at a time, and we need to, you know, we need just to enjoy the sun, because the sun comes every morning, but also we need to take control of what we can, instead of, you know, worrying of what we cannot do. That is absolutely truth and powerful.
Thank you, Fauza.
Thank you so much
for having this space, this beautiful show and series that you are trying to promote love and care for your friends, for your clients, for all the people that are trying to find a good and positive side out of that. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love you. I'm so grateful that we've been neighbors. How did you do that? Oh, you are so beautiful. Thank you so much. I love you too. And thank you for sending me on this diary. Adriana, I know your knowledge, your wisdom is impacting a lot of people. I'm going to share your contacts if anyone would like to have a chat with you, that they can be able to reach out to you. Keep doing what you are doing too, because really you are helping a lot of people, and I'm just so grateful and thankful that you've joined me on this diary to share your wisdom, so that we can, you know, we can help one another. Thank you, and I will see you soon. But next time, it's not going to be on Zoom. I want to be on face-to-face, because and we can have a cup of tea. We can share the tea and the proper conversation. I miss a hug. I send a hug.
Hug and my love to you, and high five. Stay safe, my friend.
Thank you so much. Stay safe, and I will see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye for now.